Welcome back to the EU LCS playoffs where Vitality and H2k are tied 1-1. I am Professor Sjokz de Portre, joined by my teaching assistant, Aaron Medic Chamberlain.
I brought you an apple, but then I remembered an apple a day keeps the doctor away, so I'm going to get rid of that.
All right, you also have to impress me with your knowledge and not trying to be teacher's pet. But we are going to take a look at the rookie class of 2018 Spring Split, as a lot of those players are on stage right now playing in the quarterfinal. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are playing right now, which is very impressive, seeing that's half of all the rookies that started the split here.
Yeah, 4 of the 8 rookies that are currently playing in the EU LCS are playing in this matchup, which is incredibly exciting. You have to look at names like Jiizuké, like Minitroupax, like Jactroll, like Sheriff, when you're debating who the best rookie is.
Yeah, and they're well on their way with their final exams of the split, the spring playoffs. Let's take a look closer at the first split for some of these rookies, starting with the AD carries. We've talked a lot about them already because they've been so important for their teams, starting with Sheriff on H2k.
Yeah, Sheriff struggled with the curriculum sort of in the first few tests, in the first few weeks, but with the tutoring of Sjokz and Selfie, some private classes for him, he's actually building up towards quite a high grade as the split progresses.
Does he deserve a bigger or a larger grade, or a higher grade, pretty good, Professor, than Minitroupax?
That's questionable, because Minitroupax has been consistent. He's always been that sort of AD carry that you know what's going to happen. He's great in the laning phase. His marks there are incredible. But then when the later portion comes along, he's not always standout. We've had a few moments to shine, good at using the unsealed spellbook, good at creative courses, but not so great when it comes to actually just carrying a team.
Well, another player that is possible A+ student from Vitality is the Italian stallion Jiizuké. He has been integral to all of Vitality's success this split. Also in this series, we'll talk about that in just a second, but he is a guy that is really a standout player in the entire league, and especially impressive for a rookie.
Yeah, when Vitality win, it's because Jiizuké gets ahead. It's because they give him pressure. We talked about his synergy with Gilius earlier on, and it has shown throughout the course of this series as well.
Well, what do you have to say about Jactroll, the support?
Jactroll, you know, he's a prodigy who shined in some of his classes. He struggled towards the end of the semester. His practical anatomy is very good, but he needs to be worried about public displays of affection because those can land you in detention. However, this series he's doing very well.
Yeah, on a more serious note, Jactroll in this series specifically has played a fantastic Thresh, and I think in week 9 he probably wasn't that happy with his play, but it seems that the Thresh is going to have to get banned away from the side of H2k, so he's doing his job and more.
Yeah, you even see Sheriff taking cleanse in lane on Jhin to try and mitigate that Thresh. Promisq played the Morgana. Nothing really seems to work against Jactroll on this Thresh. He played it very well when they were on Giants, and now he's doing a superb job in this series as well.
Yes, and let's take a look at Jiizuké, the rookie that has been doing so well so far. I'm loving this pointy stick. But in game 1, his Taliyah was impressive. He made a lot of plays happen. Not so much enabled in game 2, but he's still very reliable for us in the series.
And the thing is, it's never really his fault that the team doesn't win in the end. You know, that Cassiopeia, he was still doing a good job. Smittyj outplayed him a couple of times, maybe some questionable calls at the Baron, but across the course of this series, he's looked consistent. He's made some good plays on the Taliyah, as we said, and I just want to see him come back to form for game 3.
And finally, the guy that I have my eye on, which we've been talking about so much, is Sheriff. And it seemed like it took a while for him to come into his own in this quarterfinal. Game 1, he was not really there, but game 2 on the Jhin, after that turnaround, he showed why he is so feared as a rookie.
That he did, and you can always tell when H2k get to the late game, Sheriff is going to be able to carry. He's very good. The Jhin build he went for was a much more late game orientated Jhin. I'd like to see him on a hyper carry as well, maybe back on the cog more, back on something with a little bit more reliability, but if he can get ahead and if H2k can keep him safe, they can definitely win through him.
Who has been the most important rookie in the series so far?
I have to say Sheriff, because I think if H2k had lost this game, they wouldn't have come back for the rest of the series. They would have lost 3-0.
Fantastic. I think I'll give you a B- for that analysis. But now let's see which rookies will step up as we send it to Drakos and Deficio for game 3.
Thank you very much, Sjokz. I'd love to have a witty comment for that segment, but I think Van Halen said it better ever than I could, so we'll leave it. Now, Deficio, game 3 on the horizon. What do you expect to change personally? We've heard a lot from the analysts. Thresh, kind of the key enabler here for Team Vitality to get these early snowballs.
Yeah.
Do you think that's actually true from what you've seen?
Well, I have 2 key picks, one from each team. Thresh, currently, for Vitality. I 100% agree with the analyst desk right there. And then Camille for H2k, because Camille is actually allowing them to have Smittyj split push, but still be somewhat useful when a late game fight will happen, because Camille does add value there. Good damage, good mobility, and in fact, with the ulti that can lock people down. I would drop this as Zia ban, personally, because again, I'm not scared of Jiizuké necessarily on that champion and how Vitality wants to play the game, and I would make that a Thresh ban instead, if I was on the side of H2k, but they've back on blue side, last time they banned Zia, Swain, and Tahm Kench. They might do exactly the same again, But then we can just see Vitality go for another winning bot lane setup, because last game, Trundle and Jhin, it was super rough.
Absolutely. And I want to see how much onus Vitality are going to put on the Camille if it's something that they want to take away. Xayah, Galio, Standard,
It's the
Caitlyn
same.
would be the third ban.
Yeah, they deny Sheriff from playing either Xayah or Caitlyn to make sure that it's a lot harder for H2k to actually use this AD carry. The Jhin performance once he got to late game was good, but again, as we highlighted, that bot lane was a big problem in the early game. And now it's Tahm Kench or Thresh that you can potentially look at.
And do you just give him the Tahm Kench? I mean, Jactroll had a rough past week, but no, still giving him so much respect on the pick. Taking it away, this means Thresh will be open if Vitality want to take it. Vitality want to rinse and repeat from game one, it will be the Caitlyn. Instead, they're targeting Smittyj.
Okay, so they're okay giving the Caitlyn to H2k. We know Minitroupax likes to play Ashe against it. Could also grab the Varus for himself. They actually don't take it. So what Yamato kind of did here was he put up a trade. He said, if you take Ryze, we get Caitlyn. If you take Caitlyn, we get Ryze. And Jiizuké's best champion is Ryze. So H2k were kind of stuck in a tough situation. If this is Kate Thresh again, H2k might have to just concede the bottom lane in the early game. The Camille ban was the other one we talked about, how that has been a key pick for Smittyj to carry in the side lane. And I think Vitality right there, smart choice in the draft.
Take the Sion as well. Clearly not too worried about securing Thresh. They say, hey, Promisq, you want to play it?
Yeah, exactly.
We're not worried about it. We'll take the Morgana. We'll take one of these alternative picks.
Exactly, because they get the last pick in this phase. They can give over Thresh and still have the answer you just mentioned. So this is a very smart pick and ban phase so far by Vitality, giving that trade to H2k that H2k couldn't really win.
Kind of shows H2k really not wanting to give her the Ryze to Jiizuké, more worried about taking that away from him, giving Selfie something comfortable in lane than they are worried about setting Sheriff up with a comfort pick. Jhin has looked good for him so far. I wonder if we're just going to see it again here. Could be in danger of being banned out in the second ban phase if Team Vitality are keen to take it away.
Olaf again for Sjokz. He's not able to do anything early game on it, which is normally where Olaf shine, because H2k are just not a good early game team. And that's what we keep seeing again and again. So it is, in that case, a pick that's not really fitting their strengths. But he's taking also to deny it from Gilius, it feels like, and to add some early pressure. It is the Braum coming in on Vitality's side. We gotta see if they still want to pick. No, they actually don't go for Thresh this time around. They're fine grabbing a lot more scaling in this draft. I don't hope they pivot too much, because I think they did a good job in both games in actually snowballing the early game. But now it is a lot more, you know, scaling double tank. Could be the Sion mid for Jiizuké. We always have to keep that in mind.
And of course, Braum a little bit better matchup into the Trundle.
Yeah, there's the Thresh ban, obviously.
If they do want to go for it, Trundle not contested quite yet. See the bans coming in. Jhin taken off the board from Vitality, so not going to give that over to Sheriff. Jinx following up. They say, look, man, you want to play a hyper carry? It's going to be Kog'Maw. You are going to be immobile, and you are going to be vulnerable.
H2k might be okay with that one, especially against the big front line of Vitality. If they do get to late game then with Sheriff, he obviously becomes a massive carry on the side. Ashe is still available if they want to grab that one specifically against the Caitlyn on their side. And Morgana was going to be the other choice, the one you mentioned with the Kate Morgana. If you're Jactroll down in the bottom lane, like, you can also grab Trundle yourself and use it against the Olaf and just play Trundle support in this case.
Not quite as positive as it is against the range matchup. Instead,
Whoa,
get the Leona lock in.
Wow.
Leona Caitlyn, okay, the dream situation, the chain CC is alive, but Tristana, a pick that we haven't seen nearly as much. Some range nerfs, some cooldown nerfs. Making her not quite the popular pick she once was.
I was going to mention Vayne against the Leona. Still risky, but the extra mobility can be super valuable in this case.
He's playing with her heart.
Tristana is probably the most likely choice for him in this case. But it's a kill lane from Vitality, but all in from Leona into traps from Caitlyn. And if you stay in that, you end up getting poked out or just straight up die. H2k though have Ryze and Tristana. This time they can rely on Sheriff's late game, so they don't need to rely on Smittyj early. Looks to be him back on tank duty. He's had his fun for this series. You got 2 Camille games, can't get more. And now we got to see if this Sion will go mid or top. And of course it's gonna be the Taliyah once again for Jiizuké, the champion he was so good on in game 1.
And very clear that Vitality are willing to let Cabo suffer on the top side of the map to set up
the bot
Jiizuké for
lane.
success. And you are right. Look at the CC. Look at the level 6 Deficio. That is terrifying. That is so much CC. Sheriff once again, no heal. doesn't get the luxury of taking the Summoner spell ever against Vitality. Has to have the cleanse or he's just going to get picked off immediately.
Yeah, and it's not so often we see a Leona versus Braum matchup in terms of the support, but they don't even care about the Braum at this point because they know they just want to play around bot lane and they just need a ton of engage and CC for Jactroll. That's what he's getting with the Leona pick. Specifically, Jiizuké is going to roam down there multiple times in this game. And a reminder, game 1, we had this Taliyah pick for Jiizuké. Gilius ganked mid-level 3, secured a first blood for his team. At the moment level 6 was hit by Jiizuké, he went bot lane instantly.
And wall after beautiful wall just set the team up to snowball it out. A single pick from Jactroll brought it all home. Interesting to see, Deficio, what has changed now for H2k? Because I see Smittyj no longer on a hyper carry in the side lane.
It's a very different setup now. It's a lot more about Sheriff going back to being a late game carry on his side, but they still have this problem where they might get completely destroyed by ganks and roams in the bottom lane. They have to make sure that Team Vitality cannot just get super far ahead on that side. Top lane, it's just a tank matchup. It's not going to be too important for the actual game itself. I'm looking a lot more at the bot lane here. Defend on the side of H2k and be aggressive on the side of Vitality.
Aggression, what we're looking for as we step in. 1 win apiece, a best of 3 in front of both of these teams. Game 3 of H2k versus Vitality. Comfort picks in a lot of different places here. Deficio Sjokz keeping his hand on that Olaf 3 games in a row. 2 games for Gilius on the Sejuani, 2 games on the Taliyah in the mid lane. But it's hyper carry versus hyper carry here in the bottom side. Caitlyn, though, definitely has the edge in the early game.
I'm just glad to see Vitality still stick to this snowball bot lane strategy because I think it's been very successful in the first 2 games. The fact they didn't get the Baron, that's execution around that one specific objective. It doesn't nullify what they did earlier in the game. H2k, though, with this Cho'Gath, they are setting up for these kind of classic comps we've seen a lot in Europe where you are so good at killing the first tank that walks towards you in a late game fight because you have to feast from Cho'Gath into then a ton of single target damage from Tristana and Ryze. So late game, it's a fairly easy comp to execute when it comes to actually playing team fights. At this point, you just gotta make sure that your bot lane does not get absolutely destroyed. Level 6, H2k can easily go top and just cross map. Tower dive to Sion, they have to feast on a Cho'Gath, and they trade turrets. But we know Vitality will go bot lane multiple times.
Deficio, it feels like this is the classic setup for both these teams. H2k want to get safely into the late game. Vitality want to kill people.
This was like the easiest game to prepare the overall storyline. Early versus late.
Literally what all of our prep pointed to. Early game versus late game. Trying to find these advantages. Well, Sheriff, good news about the Tristana. Not going to suffer as much in the early push as previous picks. Explosive shot means that they can get the early advantage.
Now, obviously, with the changes to Tristana, it happened where more damage on a W, but lost some range. Kind of means that her level 2 all-in, if she can get towards it, is actually a bit of extra damage from the W. But generally, her laning phase did suffer from obviously losing a bunch of range, especially hurts against the Caitlyn. Sheriff, though, happy not losing the early level 2 push that we have seen him lose both games before this.
Yeah, and it's important to keep our eyes on Sheriff because while Smittyj was the kind of the surprise choice for H2k to choose to carry in the past game, Sheriff has been kind of the classic and did look very good last game on the Jhin. I think a lot of people would not expect these damage numbers to come through.
As soon as he got to the late game, he could carry. Early game, I think there were a lot of opportunities for Vitality to punish the bot lane even harder. Some missed opportunities on the all-ins on their side, but this one here is all about buffer that jump on Tristana when Leona goes all in. Promisq will try and stand in between Jactroll and Minitroupax when the all in happens and blocking the damage from the Caitlyn. Early move.
A little bit awkward. Sjokz is moving in.
Oh, he just snuck around.
Now we're going to try to run back towards mid lane.
Jactroll will find him anyway.
Good bit of vision laid down, spots out the jungler. Of course, last game, Selfie died level 2 to a very aggressive early Gilius gank. Is not going to be the case this time around, so already H2k much better off than they were in the game 1.
Yeah, just like the last game, Gilius not looking for just perma-ganking in the early game, because obviously he's playing a scaling tank on his side. He's been active. He's done his job. Really want to give him a lot of credit for how he's played in the first 20 minutes in both the games. Trundle first one, Sejuani the second one. Meanwhile, top lane, it is tanks pushing against each other.
And interesting too, I mean, Smittyj kind of has been a rock for the team in the series, been getting these big laning advantages. I want to see what he can do now that he doesn't have the kind of comfort fighter pick, because you can see gets a decent amount of jungle attention, very forward in his lane, huge CF differences across his Camille games, but now it's a different story on the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, I only think we will get jungle attention towards him after level 6 if Vitality are just destroying bottom lane. H2k will have to go top to get something back. But the Taliyah pick does a very good job of just pushing in against the Ryze, and the Ryze, who, after some of the nerfs, did lose a bit of early push in his kit. Like, the damage from spreading around was reduced quite a bit. Jactroll, just testing.
Fishing.
But the fact that Jiizuké in this matchup can keep pushing just means that we're waiting for his level 6 before he can actually roam. What happened last time, and what should happen this game, is bottom side is where Vitality control vision with control wards. So when Jiizuké goes missing from mid, instantly H2k will have to call. Careful, he could be bot lane, and you have to play passive all the time. And the control wards make sure you can always move. You can already see the first one being placed in the river. And H2k, their job is then to go top side and make sure they can always get something in return.
You can see Sjokz and Gilius both pathing around the vision so well. The team quite aware that the jungler is going to be.
Selfie should also, sorry to interrupt you, I just want to call out really quick when Selfie's back in base. I think getting TP for him is a big change from the last game. He needs to try and continue evening out the push mid, and then he needs that TP later to try and match the roam.
Sheriff, going to take a little bit of damage here, but you are so right, Deficio, because he was shut down so early the last time he played Ryze in the mid lane that he didn't really get a chance to go toe-to-toe, and wave clear freed Jiizuké to roam to get his team those big advantages. This time a little different. Jiizuké going to struggle a little bit more. Level 5 Ryze push, still very strong despite the nerfs.
And now we get that double control ward set up. Jiizuké can walk into this bot lane brush you see down here, and instantly H2k will not be 100% sure where he is. When is he ulting? Is he still moving bot? Or is he returning to mid? And you have to constantly play without full information of the Taliyah, and it just forces you to play more passive in lane. So it's hard for Selfie to follow. He can't face check if the enemy jungler is there, and that TP from Selfie will be ready in a couple of minutes to try and match if they want to defend bot lane, but until that happens, Jiizuké gets the early push and can go for bot lane tower dives.
Good control right now on the bottom side, as you pointed out. Sjokz going to look to disrupt it.
Good.
No one there to interrupt him from taking down at least one of these control wards.
And this is one of the advantages for H2k now, where they don't have to snowball top, because it's not a Camille. They can actually invest a bit more on trying to defend Sheriff and Promisq. Cabochard right back towards the top lane. In game 1 when he did this, he got killed right after because of a tower dive. Not in this game. Slow and steady.
A little different with the Cho'Gath. Kind of has a lack of gap closers to get close. Still pretty solid with the silence and the knockup to deal with Sion and his decimating smash, but not crushing the matchup by any means as he has been in the past in the Camille versus Shen.
And now with Sjokz on bottom side and Selfie getting the push, Vitality are not able to set up an early play with the Taliyah. This is very good for H2k specifically. They have cleanse on the AD carry, so again, weaker in the all-in, but it's all about just avoid the CC and jump away when 4 members show up. Blue buff steal.
Nice for Selfie. He's going to get level 7. Sjokz, of course, tailing behind a little bit as he donates the buff over. Gilius with the level 6 will want to find an opportunity here shortly. Jiizuké now backing in the lane. But just excellent for Selfie to have this buff. Means he can't sustain the push. Means he can deny this even longer, as you mentioned. Not give Jiizuké the chance to roam.
Yeah, and the further you get into the game here as Ryze, you start maxing Q, you do get a lot of wave clear suddenly you can utilize. You do suddenly try and, you know, match the Taliyah push in that mid lane. Cabochard is around, but there's no ult on his side. A classic play from him has been push top, go mid, and gank for Jiizuké. Can't obviously do it at this point here without the ulti. So it is a slow early game, which once again is in favor of H2k, who just wants to stall.
Level 6s are here for Cabo. We saw the ult already burned. When it comes back up, maybe he has the opportunity. Level 6 for Jactroll, not quite there, however. The Leona ult going to be crucial if they want to start these fights off.
Same 2 control wards back in place from Vitality. Setting up for the big play. A lot of small steps. Push mid, get vision bot side. Be ready to execute a gank. Jiizuké will be spotted by Promisq. It's kind of tense. Sheriff, he knows. Promisq knows.
And we're waiting, right? Because we know that Vitality can be so explosive when they find the opportunity. And Jiizuké with the potential to show up in a lane at any moment. H2k definitely... You see Sjokz, he's kind of pathing towards the bottom side. Not only is he ready to take the red buff, but he's ready to protect his bottom lane if Vitality want to move there. Gilius now ready to move in, waiting for his mid laner to get the push before he goes in any further.
Moving in. He knows his mid laner can react first. Selfie's TP still on cooldown for another 20 seconds. So it is now Vitality moving towards the bottom side. Level 6 not there yet from Jactroll. Should be very close.
Jiizuké has to be careful too. Selfie in a much better position. He's going to look for the trade, won't quite get in range for the snare. Jiizuké playing on the edge there, can't afford to get locked up by Selfie in these exchanges. But there's Cabo. See him hovering around the top side of the mid lane, looking for the snowball, but Smittyj knows what's going on, knows where the top laner went, has the ward in the brush. And TP for Selfie means that if any play happens on the bottom side of the map, he can respond. Vitality gonna have to settle for the Ocean Drake. It's not the kills that they may have wanted in the early game.
And they don't even get this one because Sjokz is still around bottom side. He doesn't care about top lane. Could go for a play against the Sion, but there's no point. Keep defending, keep stalling for your bottom lane. Make sure Sheriff gets his farm.
And you see a bit of a gold advantage coming in. A lot of that is Sjokz in the jungle. Bringing it home in terms of CS. Out farming Gilius, who's just been roaming around the map trying to make something happen. He's going to start up the Ocean, pings it out. Team ready to collapse. This should be theirs. We heard on the podcast earlier this week how important Ocean can be for these tank top matchups.
Oh yeah, every top lane at home is crying at the moment because suddenly for Smittyj, it gets a little bit harder with the mana sustain especially coming in for Cabochard, but also the HP. And Sjokz shouldn't really look to fight here.
TP going in. Stun not going to connect. TP is canceled. Cabo ready to respond, but H2k managed to back off and get the TP out, so a small win for them.
They lost the Drake. They most likely would have lost in any case here. And by stepping forward, they ended up trading TP for Flash on Promisq. That means now Vitality do have a target if they go down to the bottom lane for a gank, just all in on the Braum. And try and kill him, but obviously if you are Vitality, you typically want to get the AD carry. And no TP from Cabochard is important.
Good sidestep. Promisq now could be in trouble, but the Unbreakable comes up. It's actually Jactroll who's going to get stunned up. The Chain CC manages to come through. Buster shot available. Sheriff, though, not going to get greedy. It's just going to throw Minitroupax back, make it clear that he has the potential to all-in if he stays around in this lane.
Also knowing that if he jumps forward, Jiizuké probably just ults down instantly, and then suddenly it's kills for Vitality. Sheriff knows the game plan. Stall. Don't risk anything. Cabochard can't TP down. Double TP from H2k. Was there just before, but Selfie's now changed to cleanse in the mid lane. He's actually expecting, he's saying, you know what? They're not doing anything but at the moment. They might go mid instead. So now he has cleansed against the Sejuani gank.
This is good play. If he sustains the mid push, it won't cost him either because it will not free up Jiizuké to roam. And now they clear out that bot side control ward vision that has been crucial for Vitality to keep control, to keep threatening the bottom side. So really all things are going well for H2k. Yes, neither side has a massive advantage at this point in the game, but we know exactly how H2k like to play in these late games. And they're the team that's proven that they can win consistently if they take it late.
Vitality are the team who had options in the early game. They drafted this Leona here. They gave up the Thresh in the first phase, let it slip so that H2k could ban it in the second phase. And then they prepared this Leona pick here to try and play around bottom side still, but this Leona against a melee support, so it gets a little bit harder. At least in the 2v2, it's not a squishy Sona or Janna you can just try and like ult straight onto into a trap and burn her down. In this case here, they do need the rest of the team. We are looking at Gilius once again trying to establish that control we mentioned multiple times on the bottom side. Always the control wards, allowing Jiizuké to move.
Freeze him up, but there's no opportunity to make a play. H2k are in position, ready to respond.
But this is the thing, right? We can see everything, but H2k, they cannot. So suddenly, by Jiizuké stepping out of vision, Selfie had to keep walking down bot lane, not knowing if Taliyah had turned around or not. And he knows if he's not there, and Vitality execute a tower dive, bam. That's kills, first turret going down, game snowballs. So he has to constantly sack a little bit of his own lane whenever Jiizuké moves first. But in this case here, Selfie made it back to his lane.
Bit of pressure coming in from Cabo. He does use the banner on the top side now.
There we go.
They're gonna look to go to mid lane. Selfie has to back out of this one. It's not going to connect. He is in trouble. Realm Warp going to try to come in. Not going to find the opportunity. Flashes. Decimating Smash. Still going to connect. But Sheriff is here right now looking for the fight. The turn, the burn. They're trying to find it. Knocked up on a Cabochard. He's going to go down. First blood for H2k. Vitality trying to fire back, but they haven't been able to take anybody down yet. Promisq stunned up. Zombie Cabo going to get one. Zombie Cabo not going to get another because it's Jiizuké there to bring it up. That's the 2-for-1 for Vitality.
Oh, might get another one. Nope, Smittyj. He's alive. Sjokz will also have to step away, but that's the classic Cabochard play on the Sion. Move towards the mid lane, and Jiizuké is trying more.
Trying to keep the siege going. Sjokz is the one caught under the tower. They want to burn him down. They know he has nothing. Perfect flash over the fat chunk of the wall there to make it out to safety. Now Vitality may have to back off here. Sheriff, a lot of confidence to step forward, but will clear the wave and stop the tower from going down.
Still a 2-for-1 here for Vitality. Haven't gotten the snowball they were looking for, but you take whatever kills you can at this point. Your Selfie danced around the initial engage, could have maybe flashed out instantly and just prevented the whole fight from happening, but H2k, they were ready to grab it in the mid lane in a 5-on-5. Let's see what happens again. Cabochard ults down, it's against Selfie, and here, if Selfie just flashes away initially, the fight might not happen. But I think actually, because he was a little bit further away and on the other side of Cabochard, he had to just kind of dodge around it and ends up taking a bunch of damage, and it's a good engage then from H2k. And Zombie Cabochard, no flash on Promisq from before, gives him the kill, and Selfie can't get out.
Works out in the end for Vitality, very close there. Good confidence in their team to bring it home.
Oh, Smittyj stepped on a trap. I think Jactroll's ulti also ended up whiffing in that fight.
And that Jiizuké damage, I mean, just last team fight, 2K at this point in the game, you can see a much more even spread inside of H2k, and a lot of that Cabochard damage just coming in from zombie form.
Cabochard's ulti is ready again. If he can do the same thing, push out mid, push out top, go mid. No flash on Selfie. Smack right into his face, secure that mid lane turret.
Deficio.
The banner's here.
The inevitable push.
And Cabochard is mid, of course.
Cho'Gath has 100 AD. He needs the minions to kill that cannon minion for him, and now Cabo is just fighting Sjokz. Trying to bait it out. That means first tower for Vitality. The snowball has finally started 15 minutes in.
They got a fight. It wasn't the perfect setup for them, but they got the fight before they got the kills. They got some damage on mid lane turret. That was the most important thing. They get down turret. This means Jiizuké can push even deeper and roam again. We're looking bot side. Sheriff, no cleanse.
Weaver's Wall almost available. They're going over as a duo.
There's no TPs from H2k.
They're now running. Instead, look at the immediate response from H2k. They're either settling on the Rift Herald or going top lane to make a play. It looks like they're going to trade objective for objective.
But Vitality will get another turret for themselves. More gold over to this team here. That mid lane fight ends up being super important for them to actually start something, because it was such a slow game. H2k was constantly defending vision on bottom side. Nothing actually happened. This Rift Herald needs to give a turret over to H2k, otherwise they will fall further behind in gold. Second Ocean as well alive.
Only 1.5k gold. Double Ocean, nice to have, but not the end-all be-all at this point in the game. And Deficio, I think it's important. We talk about Baron. Very crucial they can secure it on the side of Vitality if they want to snowball the game and find a win. We've seen them struggle, but also now they're up against a Cho'Gath. So much more Baron control on the side of H2k.
A few more seconds on Sheriff's cleanse, but sadly it is a Tristana. Can jump away very easily. Jactroll is around, hovering. Won't get anything in this case here.
Just gonna back up.
Might have something still.
He hit the flash forward. Jactroll trying to keep it going. The ulti. Flash has been burned. Taliyah wall is coming in. The coordination from Vitality as they want to lock down the AD carry. They want to take him out, and Sheriff will drop. Minion wave is here as well. Not a great position for H2k to respond. They may have to give up the tier 2.
Oh, good play from Vitality. Sheriff, he kind of knew something would happen, but he thought he was safe. With flash and everything. Cabochard going in.
We're in the middle of everything. Selfie, not going to find the decimating smash in there, but there's Jactroll for the follow-up. Now getting knocked back in the middle of everything. Gilius is there for the backup. The JCC is beautiful. Vitality keeping the ball rolling. They want to get the bottom tier 2, but they're going to have to wait for the creep wave.
Well, they're coming now. Meanwhile, top lane, Smittyj trying to get a turret for H2k. His own banner of command minion helping him, but it's going to be bot lane turret for Vitality. They have to work hard for these kills here, but they find another one. Creative play where Jiizuké actually wanted to go back to base. But they waited long enough, and then by Sheriff stepping forward, they saw an opening and they went straight for it. It doesn't matter if you flash away, if the wall then comes down after and blocks you from actually escaping. So Vitality find 2 more kills for themselves.
And now Sheriff, no flash available, going to make it much harder. Future plays, still has the rocket jump, but has to be much safer with the use of his only escape option. Buster shot not going to be enough against Leona.
And this is one of the big positives around Vitality, and what a lot of teams are praising is the creativity. If a game is slow, they're always looking for just one way to find a fight. And they don't care if they have to go a little bit further than other teams to get it. Like here, they see Sheriff step forward, and Sheriff knows that he might get engaged on, but it's a good flash in from Jactroll to force the flash from Sheriff early, and then Jiizuké comes in. And now, there's nothing H2k can do to actually defend. So it's a good setup. Nice, confident engage from the Leona, and exactly what they need to get more kills on another turret.
You have to wonder if H2k are going to keep putting Sheriff in the side lane to soak up all that farm, or if they're going to see that he's vulnerable now without the flash. But just beautiful follow-up from the Vitality team. Once a fight starts and they're in their element, as long as they find it engaged on their terms.
I'd look for another player on top side without flashing that Tristana. Jiizuké can keep pushing out mid and then look for the play. Baron spawning soon as well. And as you said before, the 2 Ocean Drakes, they're nice to have. Help a lot in the early game, but scaling-wise, they're not going to be too important.
Keeping Cabo even in this matchup, despite Cho'Gath having better kind of anti-tank scaling, so that is the one piece of good news for Vitality. It's not as big of a weak point as they might have expected, but now Gilius looking to lock it down. Stun does come in, cleanse as well. Follow immediately for Gilius. Good patience comes through. Selfie now running for his life. The threaded volley just out of range, but getting a summoner from Selfie, nice to have.
Jiizuké did not want to fully commit and flash forward to trying to perfectly set up the knockback. Obviously knowing that a lot of H2k members were coming from mid. They're playing around the Baron though. Top lane turret is still standing for H2k. The last outer turret they got. It's been another game where Vitality have been able to get the early lead.
Sheriff has to be careful. Jactroll not going to go for the play here. Doesn't have enough members strong. And Rift Herald has been summoned on top side. Will buy a little bit of time. But not going to break a tower for sure unless it's left unattended.
Look at this. All the lanes are pushing against H2k. They don't have that Camille.
And Cabo's going in on the bottom side. H2k have been playing too much around the top side. It's all been a bait as Smittyj is actually the target here. It's going to look for the flash over the wall. The flash follow for Cabo. The flash follow for Jiizuké. They want to lock him down. Got to keep him away from that blast cone. Are they going to have enough damage? Yes! Jiizuké take him down. H2k now without their Baron control option. Now without their top laner. This is going to be very difficult for them to play for the next 30 seconds.
Another good play here from Jiizuké. Staying around mid lane. Always looking for silence. Another one in mid.
Selfie.
No cleanse on his side.
Off to the side. No ulti available, but Leona ult is going to connect. No follow-up.
They were around. Sadly, no ult from Gilius. No ult from Cabochard either to see if they could get on to Selfie in time. H2k, they're hanging on for now, but they're conceding a lot of gold over to Vitality. After that very slow early game, Vitality found 2 very good fights to gain an advantage, and then another roam from Jiizuké just before here.
And a 4K lead. Not a bad thing to have. Double Ocean Drake's not as great, but when the Elder comes around, it will be important.
It's still going to come down to a Baron play. Once again, an issue for Vitality the last few weeks. Can they cleanly set it up? Leona is fantastic around Baron at turning for the fight. Giant wall of tanks will jump in the face of H2k. Sheriff does not have the damage to kill these tanks at the moment. So Vitality have a lot of ways to start a Baron, sustain around it, and then turn for the fights when H2k show up. They should be able to further snowball this game.
And Warmog's away as well for Gilius. So they're not even going to get punished for starting it if they want to try and bait. He will heal right back up.
Remember with the nerf to Warmog, he's not a 3k HP just yet. Cinderhulk Warmog does not give you enough stats. Still needs about 300 or 250 at this point before it activates. So will take a little bit of time for him. But they're still around the Baron itself and also threatening that top lane tier 2 turret. They can look for tower dive if H2k are suddenly split up. TP is there for Smittyj, but he might not be there in time if a fight breaks out.
Backs coming in for the Braum. May need to respond to top side instead. They're starting to move
It's
up.
the play we just talked about.
Ryze could be in trouble. CC is going to try to come in. They are going to find the follow-up immediately. They're bringing it home. Selfie now in trouble. Just going to take him out as Minitroupax grabs the kill, and it's Sion now trying to keep it going. Promisq looks for the disengage. Does manage to connect onto 2. Single pick-off on the side for H2k. Vitality happy to grab that one.
They keep getting something. A kill now. Top lane turret will take a bunch of damage. As well as Vitality do stay around. They are moving away now. Ooh, a lot of damage on Sheriff. They're actually going straight for Baron Depth. Moving on to it. Traps lined up already from Minitroupax. Tanks who can stand in front of it. Smittyj needs to TP in.
Will have to be willing to burn at 7k and dropping. 6k getting lower. Predator has been used.
There's no wards for him to
Promisq
TP
might
on.
just go down here. Trying to contest off the side, trying to break through those traps. Minitroupax is healing up, but has to be careful. If Sheriff leaps in, could take him out, but not going to take the risk.
Oh, that could have been big for Vitality, but they didn't have the ultis to turn here. Promisq will go down. Assume the ult from Minitroupax killed him. Recall around a ward, most likely. Yep, right there.
He says that's for my boy Jactroll after your AD carry sniped him last time. So wards once again the heroes of these games. And Mountain Drake going down. Not Triple Ocean Deficio. Cabochard will be sad. But the rest of Vitality will be happy. It will make it easier for them to pressure this Baron. We know it is the center of attention for this team. They have the gold lead. Advantage is in their favor. Tristana only at 2 items, not hitting that 3-item point yet. This is their window of opportunity.
And we're constantly just looking at the Taliyah pick. 100% kill participation from Jiizuké so far in this game. After the slow start, he's found 2 good ultis that resulted in kills and turrets for the team. And H2k are continuing to try and stall. but they don't have a lot of map pressure. And the moment they show up in the side lane, we've seen 5 Vitality members instantly, and Jactroll can always engage.
He's ready to go. And Deficio, we just continue to see Jiizuké be an absolute terror, the kind of the center carry for Vitality week after week. But we are seeing much more conscious play around him, snowballing him, then allowing him to go to the bot lane to snowball Minitroupax. Has been a good look for the team. Vitality playing with the win conditions we expect. Sion is now going in there, going to look for the engage. Has been locked up for now. Sjokz going to have to burn the ulti. Wall is now coming in to try to block off the team, but it's Smittyj in the middle of everything. Is he going to give his life? Sheriff locked up. Smittyj not going to be able to get anyone down. Cho'Gath gone. Maybe this is the opportunity for Vitality to turn onto that Baron.
Oh, let's see. Cabochard is very low, but he can TP back towards the Baron. There's a ton of wards placed by H2k.
No flash for Sjokz. Also playing on the blue side means it's a lot harder to steal this Baron. We'll have to walk through every member of Vitality to get into that pit.
And Vitality right there, they got the TP. They got the kill. Around mid lane, Jiizuké looking for another one.
Sheriff.
Oh, Cabo's coming behind.
Look for the opportunity. Is he going to find the decimating smash? Does manage to find his Sheriff now trying to back off, but he doesn't do quite enough damage to these tanks yet. Gilius goes over the wall, finds 1 stack, 2. Sheriff backing off on the 3rd stack. Stun not going to connect. H2k retreating, but Vitality not able to get a greater advantage.
Vitality once again ping around the Baron. If H2k shows bot lane, Baron might get started. But they're not showing just yet. Vitality still hovering around, looking for another pick. They're so hungry to fight.
And Smittyj no TP. Selfie no opportunity to swap out summoner spells. Has already burned the Ghost. Will now have to back off. The slow, steady game for H2k, the longer they go, of course, they still have a very strong late game composition, but they have to be careful. They can't afford to keep getting picked off because look at the Taliyah, Deficio.
So much damage.
Death Cap, Void Staff, Archangels. That is a lot of damage. No triple Infernal this time, but still quite potent.
I think H2k were trying to see if there was a chance of a Baron rush if all of Vitality went back to base, but not the case here. Vitality do get to once again push out, get the Baron control, and of course, both teams looking to see if they can qualify for that semi-final, lock their spot as well. Going in towards Copenhagen, or you either get the 3rd place or the final for either one of them. And we also want to announce we do have a special guest joining us for the broadcast. It's going to be Froggen, of course, who will be on the analyst desk. Cold is there as well. But Froggen is coming to join us here in Denmark. And
Anivia is in the meta.
Anivia is in the meta.
The memes are being made as we speak.
He's going to talk about it. And of course, all the fans will get a chance to meet him. There's still a few tickets available, but we got to get them pretty fast, especially for the final.
See if you have the opportunity now.
Oh.
May want to wait on going to buy those tickets. Keep your eyes on this game as Baron has been started. H2k potentially on the way in.
They're going to rush it down.
Time 3K, getting lower. Trap has been used. They're looking for the turn and burn. They may just fire it back. Cabo's in the middle of everything, but Selfie is on the backside trying to take down Minitroupax. The immediate turn back. The team is split, but Jiizuké is more than enough. Cho'Gath, Jiizuké, the flash forward. Smittyj with the double. Massive turn for the team. Selfie still playing over the wall, but he has the Realm Warp if he wants to use it. Are they going to chase for anything more? Sheriff ready for the resets, ready to keep this ball rolling if he can get it started. That's Smittyj going to be brought into the middle of everything. Gilius now has to run, but he's in the middle of Sheriff. Now Decimating Smash comes in, the knockup. They're going to look to chain the CC. That's one. Can look for the reset, but not going to get greedy. H2k in control.
Man, again, it's Vitality winning the early game, and then around the Baron, H2k find a way back. Vitality could have finished the Baron here, but they just seem to have no confidence actually getting it down in time before Smittyj and Sjokz can get into the Baron pit. Baron's being started. It's still risky by H2k.
The knockup connects on the Minitroupax. He will die immediately. Then he has to be safe.
No feast just yet.
Cabo cannot overstay his welcome. 5K getting lower. Smittyj getting chunked down. Promisq is here as well. 3K health. They just want to burn through the Baron. Jactroll as well. Body block comes in. They are going to be able to get it. Cabo goes down too. H2k, this is exactly what they wanted.
I can't believe that it's happening every single game now. Vitality with the lead, the tanks, the engage, start the Baron, either turn as a team, win the fight, or in this case here, let's see how low the Baron dropped, because the call in itself makes a lot of sense, but all 5 members are around. Jiizuké uses the wall to try and block them out. Promisq with the shield stops the wall from actually completely zoning away the team. And here, I think you can try and rush it down if you're Vitality with the traps lined up. Keep in mind, if Sjokz steals it, he's in a bad position and might just die because he has to flash into the pit. But they don't finish it, they turn, ends up splitting up. And because the Baron was still active, it ends up killing Jactroll. And Sjokz is untouched in the fight. Welcome to the late game. 3 items on Tristana. This is where H2k tends to win their games, and we're here again.
Cutting it down, Sheriff so strong to siege. The Demolitionist champion, exactly what H2k want. But here comes the Sion. Vitality looking for the turn, trying to get him out with the Ryze ult. Olaf will make it out to safety, but now he's split off from the rest of the team. Sheriff is in trouble. No, he's not outside of the team fight. Sheriff remains untouched. And it's just a 1-for-1, top lane for top lane. Mid laners on each side grabbing the kill.
1-for-1. Sjokz left Smittyj is the only frontliner in that fight when he was in the ulti from Selfie. Mountain Drake for Vitality. Sadly, not what you're looking for again if it's all about scaling and winning late game fights. Ocean and Mountain gives you very little value when it comes to team fighting. And Vitality have lost yet another first Baron. Not confident they could finish it in time. I think they should have gone for it, but they didn't. Then lost the following fight. Sjokz is on 3 kills now.
3 items, Deficio. Energizer build plus the Infinity Edge. Working towards the next option here. Very strong Tristana.
Turret still alive. Hits play. Selfie sets up the ult to get out, but they realize they can't get out in time. Sjokz leaves. Sjokz left untouched.
He got like 9 autos off in that fight. Admittedly all onto Cabo, but quite a good team fight for an AD carry.
Okay, looking for another one. Jactroll.
Wall off. Jactroll gonna try to go over. A bit of a moment of uncoordination. Actually are gonna get multiple members across. It's just Sjokz on the backside. Oh! Jiizuké stepping forward. A rare misstep from him, but now Olaf is charging in. Sheriff is there. Selfie is there. They're ready to go. Traps coming in, but Minitroupax has to be careful. Does get locked up. Flashes out to safety, not gonna get taken down. Gilius looking for the disengage, but Sheriff is right there. Wants to keep the fight going, to knock up the chain CC. He's gonna get burned down. Selfie grabs another one.
It's happening again. Welcome to the late game where H2k can simply outplay Vitality. They have a draft where it's all about just killing the first member right in front of you. Cho'Gath feast, 2 strong single target carries. And this time it was Jiizuké with the ult who ended up actually jumping in to the rest of H2k. He dies. That's now mid lane going down. That's an inhib dropping. The Baron buff is still active. And suddenly everything that happens in the first 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Vitality have to be able to execute around the first Baron.
Now it's H2k with a 3k gold lead. Selfie out of mana. Maybe that can help them in the coming fight, but Smittyj is just so tanky, so disruptive. Jiizuké cannot play on the front line, but Cabo going in anyway. Now backing off, immediate ulti. Decimating smash gonna connect on 2, but the silence comes in as well. Good disengage for H2k. One more bout to make it out to safety. Deficio, Vitality. They had a bit of a snowball, but it just was not enough.
There's 3,500 gold on Selfie and 2,500 on Sjokz, just sitting ready to be spent. Now they go back to base. They're gonna get 4 items after going back. Jiizuké ends up jumping towards H2k after ulting in and not jumping off a little bit earlier.
And just a reminder, jumping into a Cho'Gath is suicide. He has a silence. You are a mage. You jump in, you die. Jiizuké playing way too risky, way too eager to make the play to kind of save the team, to bring them back into the game, and can't afford to make mistakes like that.
And it's hard for Yamada Cannon to change a lot because they are consistently winning the early game. The Taliyah pick is working, Jiizuké is performing.
And how do you teach a team in a best-of-5 to play around Baron to have the confidence to go for the smite in those scenarios when it's turned against them so many times?
Because again, if they go for the all-in there, Sjokz at least will die if he goes for the steal. Even though he gets the Baron, he will die and you can still win the fight because you have so much engaged on the side of Vitality. But they didn't commit for it, they lost the fight. Ended up being split up. Jactroll was on his own, dropped low, and then suddenly Sjokz just hammered away. And now, he's almost on 4 items.
And now you're the team that has to play aggressive, that has to go into the Cho'Gath to stop Tristana from killing your entire team. Tank line of Vitality not nearly as scary as it once was. Armor penetration not there for Sheriff yet, so they have at least a brief moment before a lot of those defensive stats are made irrelevant. The additional range from Sheriff keeping him just outside of the trap range. Wall does come in. Selfie's going to be walled off from the fight. Engage follow-up, looking to take down Smittyj before the fight starts. That could be the spot that Vitality need. Exactly what they want, but Sheriff is untouched. Keep an eye on him as he hits into the back line. Selfie not playing scared, keeping his eyes on the front line. Is going to take down Cabo. Sheriff actually going to grab the kill as he's on a rampage.
We have to remember that initial engage from Vitality. If they want to try and reach the carries, they have to do it immediately with the Leona, but it's so hard to do this late in the game, so they end up having to kill the tank. And the moment they kill a tank, Sheriff and Selfie are untouched. Cabochard, we see here, he dies very, very quickly.
Nice! Jiizuké with the clutch play now, going to try to bring it home. Realm Warp, can they take him out? Selfie not going to be stunned, so it means at least Promisq will be safe there. Is the ace in the hole.
Jactroll's trying to get close enough.
Wants to get a little bit more. What's he have? No Moby Boots, the Merc treads. Wants to make sure that Selfie cannot back, but Selfie has the flash, can just go over the Dragon Pit wall.
Yeah, but force him to use that flash. Another win here for Vitality. Stall the game, don't lose your bot lane inhib. Good play from Jiizuké onto Sheriff. Flash is still available for next fight, but Baron in 30 seconds. AD carry is going to be alive, probably get there in time with home guards. But Vitality can now play against a no-flash Ryze. That could be your target.
But you can see how difficult it is for them to play these fights in full 5-on-5.
This is great though. Engage, kill the tank first, realize you have a strong front line of Sejuani, Leona, and of course the Sion. But now, then the turnaround is where they don't have the next engage. They don't have another Leona ulti to use. And they can't get to the carries. This is just a good play from Jiizuké, and Sheriff thinks he can jump out, but bam, interrupted. Baron play is going to be huge. It is alive. We're back watching Vitality around it. We have the Tristana currently moving towards it. And remember, no flash on Selfie. He could be your target. If you can connect the ulti from Jactroll onto him, it could be huge, but he's bought a stopwatch to use when he sees that all-in from Jactroll.
Ready to make it happen. Jiizuké looking for the pick. Chain CC comes in, but they're not going to catch Sheriff. It's not quite what they want. Olaf doing what he can in the meantime. Sheriff, though, free hitting onto Cabochard. Exactly the exchange they're looking for. Cabo not going to get any damage down with the passive advantage to H2k.
More importantly, I think they were aiming for Selfie and they didn't hit him. Suddenly, you can't actually move forward because this H2k lineup will kill your tank first. As long as Smittyj is in the front line soaking damage and ready with the potential feast, the damage of Selfie and Sheriff burns through Cabochard. Like, his life, it's rough. He goes in, that's his job. He takes a bunch of damage, and if his carries have not killed the enemy tank, he's gonna die then.
Elder Dragon started up by H2k. No dragons themselves, I mean, this is a quite easy take.
But Baron is being pinged by Vitality.
They want to go, they have to go now. They're using the wall to block it off. They want to start it up. 4v5. Cabo has the TP available. 4 dragons. Double mount makes it pretty easy. Promisq not going to steal this one away. That means Vitality will get the Baron.
But can they get out? That's the thing here. 5 members of H2k around. Promisq on the other side here trying to use his ulti. Not ready actually, it's on cooldown. He's just trying to buy some time.
TP going to be used to keep the team safe. H2k ready for the full 5-on-5. Promisq not going to get picked off. Unbreakable is there. Knockup going to go in on the Selfie, but he does have the hourglass. That might just be enough. Smittyj in the middle of the team, but he doesn't kill anybody. Sheriff up to the side. Can't make a hero play. Flashes out. Ready to go at a moment's notice. Minitroupax will stay alive. Has to burn the heal to keep it safe. Back and forth in this game. Vitality will not go quietly.
Such a close fight here. Selfie almost died. No flash on his side. They actually got onto him, but then the stopwatch came in and suddenly the entire team is in front of him. Super close game. Vitality with a good call here. Used Taliyah ult to block H2k from getting to the Baron. Take it, trade it for the Elder Drake. In this case, because there are 0 Drakes on the side of H2k, it's actually a good trade for Vitality. Allows them to look for another big fight. Yes, the fights have been easy to execute for H2k, but that doesn't mean Vitality can't win them. One good knockback from Jiizuké on either Selfie or Sheriff. That's a kill. That's a 1 team fight for Vitality.
And we're now at this point in the game, Deficio, where we have to look at Selfie's itemization. You see the broken stopwatch, not enough time to get to Zhonya's quite yet. That means he's more vulnerable in the fight to come. Similar story for Sheriff. Has the cleanse, but it's not going to matter against the knockback against Jiizuké.
I'm still looking for Jactroll to just ult straight on Selfie until that flash is ready.
And this team is so strong at sieging. The traps, the threat of CC if you try to move in on a Sion, very strong for the team overall. You see Smittyj just fishing for the rupture picks. Minitroupax takes a lot of damage, but both AD carries with the Bloodthirst. I mean, it's pretty hard to knock anyone out with a single hit.
And that flash is now ready. So is my puberty. Spellbook obviously helping Selfie a bit with the cooldown on it. So next fight, we might have to Vitality just aim for Smittyj again. But that's again, that kill the tank first kind of setup is what H2k is built for.
And you can see Smittyj is just fearless. Has the Warmogs, more than willing to walk into the face of the enemy and just
Gilius went in.
The wall setup. What are they going to find? Not going to get the opportunity. The coordination just a little bit off here on the side of Vitality. 2 major ultimates burned. Window of opportunity for H2k despite the Baron buff.
They did just interrupt the recall of Minitroupax, but he's fine. Backs away.
Trying to get the free inhibitor. Jiizuké is not there. They have to play safe. Cabo gets cut down here. It will be massive. Gilius keeping forward. Minitroupax playing so on the edge here.
Trying to catch the carries. Hard game for Jactroll.
Keep an eye on Cabo though. Has the engage available. Smittyj with the feast could try to turn this if the carries overstep. And Selfie looks to be going to the side, then they want to split up Vitality.
Such a huge game in this series. They're getting the 2-1 advantage. H2k stalling out after another early game loss. Could really hurt Vitality and their confidence in the style they're trying to play. They twice in a row lose a game after winning the early game, after getting 4 to 5k gold ahead. So that means they might feel like they're forced to change, but so far, they're still able to win late game fights. They're still in this one. They can still shut down H2k. It just gets harder and harder. Luckily, all the carries are basically maxed out, except for Selfie.
Yeah, 2 carries on both sides. Selfie approaching the maxed out stage. You see Jiizuké going for the maximum AP build with the Spellbinder there. And Deficio, I mean, the AD carries, the mid laners, all that matter in these fights. Can the tanks find the engage? The AD carries and mid laners follow up. And it's a bit terrifying because when Smittyj gets that flash, it's a little bit harder to play around.
So if we work under the assumptions that none of the teams can reach the carries early in a fight, then we have to see if Vitality can chain CC Smittyj long enough so that he can actually feast against one of their tanks. And they can try and kill him, knock him back with Jiizuké, deal a ton of extra burst damage with it, and then the first tank is dead, and Vitality have effectively won the first part of the fight, and then they just gotta make sure they don't over-chase. Because then they've lost all the engage and they can't actually get easily onto Sheriff, but at least they get the kill on the first tank.
And it feels like the single piece of good news for Vitality in these fights, despite Cho'Gath being a potential obstacle, is that Sjokz is playing the Olaf. It is not the best late game scaling champion. Caitlyn with so many items is not going to be nearly as threatened as she was in the early game.
Double locket on the side of H2k. I would have loved for Promisq here to have had a Knight's Vow in his case here, just like plug that onto Sheriff, further protect him. I think a Mikhail's could be an option later on as well when you are against the Leona. Just if the cleanse is gone, having extra ways of avoiding a potential engage onto your carries, because we have seen the amount of damage Sheriff can deal as long as he doesn't die early. Minitroupax is trying to do exactly the same on his side, and while there's a lot of damage with the headshots, doesn't have that insane attack speed steroid we get from the Tristana.
That's the big thing in deciding this. The mobility, the safety that Sheriff provides, and the attack speed steroid. So crucial for the late game scaling hyper carries. 110% on Sheriff if he ever gets to stand still and hit the opposition. Caitlyn, of course, with the empowered crits, but they're so few and far between in these fights. A lot more will depend on if they can just burst a single target out. But the 1,000 damage crits are coming in now for Sheriff. He's just about untouchable. Overheal plus the Bloodthirst are going to make it hard to burst him down.
Remember also with Gilius on Sejuani, there is a late game advantage for Vitality in terms of the junglers. But it can be tough to actually land the key ulti when everyone is grouped together. You tend to just hit the tank in the face and not one of the carries. Banner on top side, pushing out 2 of them on the side of Vitality at the moment. 2 of them on the side of H2k to try and match it.
And a minute till Baron, minute 45 till the Elder Dragon. Second one for H2k if they get it. It's a massive buff, despite not even having any dragons.
Minitroupax trying his best here to beat a big carry. Ton of damage on his side with the Caitlyn. Obviously, when 2 AD carries are hitting tanks 24/7, they tend to get very high damage numbers. Double ban on one side.
So Banner v Banner, however, Vitality having to respond on the bottom side of the map does mean the H2k should have a clear path to get some Baron vision of their own to set that one up. They don't have any Mountain Drakes, but they still have 2 members who can cut through it quite quickly.
Now this potential double banner setup, if you do that when Baron is actually alive and the enemy tank then shows up bot lane and you start the Baron, he's forced to TP in and these 2 minions will continue just pushing. So you can actually time it like that. Now Cabochard had enough time to go bot lane and kill at least one of them before Baron spawn, but H2k can still try and force his TP. Here we go.
Trying to back off. Vitality Posturing around the pit, ready to threaten. Smittyj now taking a whole ton of damage here, ready for the fight. Eyes on the engage options for both sides. Gilius going to connect to chain the CC onto Promisq. He's going to be a tough target to hit, but Smittyj down to half health. Not going to heal up as he has stayed in the pit. Jiizuké similarly low. Minitroupax untouched for now. If that rupture hits, it could be massive for the team. They're not going to find the follow-up. Decimate's match next. Immediately she tries to leap in, but Gilius is still alive. Smittyj has been taken down. Jiizuké untouched, as is Minitroupax. They're going to have to back off. Realm Warp taking them out, but the wall now coming in to block off Selfie. Can they find the follow-up here? Now turning to the Baron. Sjokz is alive. Can he steal this one for his team? 7K and getting lower. Minitroupax ready to turn at a moment's notice. Predator has been used. Vitality now ready to back off as Sheriff does so much damage.
They don't want to take the chance again. Wait, he's going for it.
Baron wants to burn it down. Can he get it? Gilius, this is your chance for redemption. Who's going to get it in the end? Who's going to get the spike? Gilius brings it home. Vitality holding on. The wave in the bot lane going to bring it home. At least a little bit for the side of H2k, but the smite coming in clutch for Gilius right when it mattered most.
Oh man, just Sjokz felt so confident he could win that one, but he didn't have to do that. He went all in. They could have stepped away with the 4 members and just let the wave bot lane do some work. That's going to be a 4 Drake Elder Drake now. Vitality won the initial fight, but then H2k had the chance to just stop because Vitality did not want to commit to the Baron. They didn't want to risk it. And then Sjokz charges in alone, thinking he can actually finish it, and suddenly Gilius gets redemption. He gets the Baron. They get the Elder Drake. That was just a huge chance now gifted over to Vitality. Can they actually now go down and destroy the base of H2k, win one late game fight to win this game?
They have Elder. They have Baron. They've got the banners, and all of the minion dematerializers are gone. This is their time.
It could just have been a full reset around Baron, but then Sjokz thought he could be the hero.
Trying to group. H2k is trying to find the flank. Gilius now backing out.
But Jiizuké, he's on his way from mid, and there's an Elder Drake on Vitality.
He's looking for the CC. Selfie now could be in trouble. They may be able to find the follow-up combo immediately to the backside. Sheriff now trying to leap into the fight. Has to use the rocket jump to get in, though. Needs to play this one safe. Jiizuké is moving in as well. Smittyj caught out. Gargoyle Stoneplay keeps him alive for now, but he is going to get taken down. Advantage to Vitality.
They're fighting against the massive buff on Vitality's side. They thought they could do it before Jiizuké showed up, but he was running. He was there in time. H2k are getting so greedy in this game, despite them being able to win multiple late game fights. Vitality are looking for more.
H2k now hoping and praying that they cannot end it here. The Baron empowered cannon minion will start to chunk away at this tower. Sheriff is going to have to step forward to kill this one, but I don't know if he has the luxury. Unraveled Earth comes in. Sheriff has to leap out to safety. CC not going to connect on the Selfie. The follow-up will, however, they're going to try to cut him down. Jactroll flashing out immediately. The chain CC comes in. Selfie is down. This could just be the win for Vitality. They're ready to push it in. Sheriff, it is now or never. Is he going to find the clutch play to bring it home? He's off to the side. The Decimating Smash. They're ready to lock him down. They force him out. Sheriff, goodbye. Minitroupax coming in. Vitality bringing it back.
I can't believe Vitality won this game. H2k were winning so many late game fights. And then around that Baron, Sjokz, instead of letting it reset, all ins for the potential finish, lose the Baron buff. Vitality walks down, gets the Elder Drake, and then H2k tries to engage on them in the mid lane. And they lose that fight as well. Vitality managed to get some big wins in the late game, and it felt like this game was lost when they didn't get the first Baron.
2 back-to-back desperation plays coming in for H2k. That is what turned it in the favor of Vitality. One Sjokz running into
no
the pit,
reason
trying to steal. I agree. The flank comes in the mid lane. They're eager to start a fight. They're eager to kill them before they get into the base. Sheriff is not in position to fight Deficio. He had to leap over the wall to get anywhere near it, and he couldn't step forward because he had no way out once he went in.
That was the most important win of Vitality's history as a League of Legends team. Them not going down 2-1 after again losing a first Baron is so big for them. They need one more win now to advance to the semi-final.
And look at the sweat. Minitroupax knows. They were playing on the edge. They were playing from behind. You're right. They should have lost, but they didn't. They found the avenue. They found the opening. And we look at it one more time.
4 members still around from H2k after losing their tank. Vitality is showing they're not confident in trying to finish it. And here, if you're H2k, let them walk out. They're low. You got minions pushing. But by Sjokz all-inning for the Baron, he gives Vitality a chance to step back in. Gilius wins the smite. Big win for him. And suddenly, Vitality gets an objective they shouldn't even get. And now they get to walk down, secure the Elder Drake, because all of H2k completely split up. They have to recall. Sjokz is behind enemy lines. And that decided the game for Vitality, because with the Elder Drake and the Baron buff, they could push down.
And they have to bring it together because it is now match point for Vitality when they step on stage for Game 4. We're going to be back for that in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Why is it so hot, man? Not hot, dude.
This here right now looking for the fight, the turn, the burn, they're trying to find it. Knocked up on the Cabochard, he's going to go down. First blood for H2k. Vitality trying to fire back, but they haven't been able to take anybody down yet. Promisq stunned up, Zombie Combo gonna get one. Zombie Combo not gonna get another. Jiizuké there to bring it up.
That was one I lost a fight with.
The immediate turn back, the team is split, but H2k is more than enough. Cho'Gath, Jiizuké, the flash forward, Smittyj with the double through the Baron. Jactroll as well. Body block comes in, they are gonna be able to get it. Cabo goes down too. H2k, this is exactly what they wanted.
It's fine, guys. Yeah, we skipped some steps there.
Didn't want to take the chance to get away. He's going for it. Baron wants to run it down. Can he get it? Gilius, this is your chance for redemption. Who's going to get it deep? Who's going to get the spot? Gilius brings it home. They force him out, Sheriff. Goodbye.